What I'm going to try and show you this evening is how easy it is to take a very simple tune like we've got here and put your own accompaniment to it. And I'm going to just presume that you're not musicians, that you don't know how to play any instrument at all. That's why I've given you hand chimes to play. And I'm also presuming that you don't play piano or violin, anything at all, and you know nothing really about music. But it is very easy to understand. The first thing, though, we've got to take in is that music is very much like painting a picture. In very many ways, it's like the artists, and let me put this here and see what you think that is. What do you think that is? An artist's palette. And how many colours does the artist use? Actually, it uses 7. There we are. We've got the 7 colours of your rainbow. And in the same way, you have the 7 different sounds. Well, I won't say sounds, alphabetical names is the best way to put it in music. We have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And for each one of these letter names, I have denoted a colour because it's going to make it far easier for you to understand what I'm going to say in a minute. So we have the notes A, which we're going to have as blue. We have B, which is green. We have C, which is yellow. D, purple. E, orange. F, brown. And red is G. So there we have our 7 alphabetically named notes, and there you've got your 7 colours of the rainbow. And in the same way, we paint our picture, or we compose our piece of music. And we say that a piece of music is in the key of G. And in the same way as we say a painting is a red painting. We don't mean to say the whole thing is red, we mean that the most predominant colour is red. Now, the reason we need to know which key this is written in is because we choose the key here and we find our chords. Now, how do I know which key this is in? Well, the usual little indication is that the last note, and most probably the first note too, will give you the clue to what key this is in. And as this first note is G, it's a red note, I know that this key is going to be G. A scale is literally going round my circle like this. And if I say started on C, and I had C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, I would say that's the scale of C. And your ear likes to hear that C as soon as possible, and it certainly likes to finish on it. But as I said tonight, our key is the key of G, so my scale is going to be G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But having said that, I must also explain to you that all these sounds can be pushed up a little bit, and if we push a sound up a little bit, we sharpen a note, and this is how we show that we need a note to be sharpened. That is a little sharp sign. And if we push a note down a little bit, not enough to get it onto the next note, we say that we have flattened the note, and that is your flat sign. Now in this tune we have no flat signs, but we have got a sharp sign. And you will find that this little sharp is always used in this particular scale or key of G. That's another story. I'm not going to explain to you exactly why tonight. But we do have a sharp, and it's put there because it's going to be every brown note. And we could have a brown note written on that line, but we've got one written here too. It's the octave lower, and that is also going to be a sharp. Now, here is our tune, but how do I know the sounds to put with it that are going to sound nice? And it's quite easy, because all we do is that we're going to jump round to every other note and pick up our notes that form a chord. And don't forget, this note here is going to be now not an ordinary F, but an F sharp. So you'll see how it works. I'm going to hop round to every other note like this, all the way around the circle, and I'm going to have 3 chords. Now, a chord means 3 or more notes played together, which sounds good. If I sat on a piano, you'd have a chord. It wouldn't be a very nice one. It's called a discord. But these chords are going to sound delicious, and they're called concords. And that's a name that I expect you all remember. So our first chord is going to be G. So we have the note G, it jumps across to B, and it jumps across again to D, missing every alternate note. The bottom note is G, so we just simply call it a G chord, so it's very easy to remember. So we've gone G, B, D, and we've landed on this D. So we start again on this D, and off we go. In other words, that top note becomes our first note of our next chord. So we have here D, we jump over to the F sharp, and we jump over to the A. And the bottom note, again, is the name of our chord. So we have a D there, and so we call it the D chord. Now let's hear these two chords before we go on. Let's hear all you people with a red chime, and all those with a green, and all those with a purple playing together. There we are. That's a lovely sound, isn't it? Now, let's try this one. D, you play again, F sharp and A. Let's hear that. Good, that's lovely. Now, we have D, F sharp, A, and this second chord is always allowed another jump. So if it has another jump, we have that note there. Now, you listen to this chord, the purple, the brown sharp, the blue and the yellow, and see what it sounds like. You see, it's really gorgeous. And we call this the D chord with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, with a seventh note added. And as that's rather a mouthful, the D chord with the seventh note added, we call it just simply D seventh. So I expect you've heard of the word D seventh before, haven't you? And wondered what a D seventh chord was. But that is what a D seventh chord is. So we've landed on C. So don't forget, the top note becomes the bottom note. So we have there the C jumping across to the E, and it gets all the way home again to that. So now let's hear this. The yellow, the orange and the red. Good, that's lovely. And can you guess what that chord is called? C. C, yes, because the bottom note's C, so we're going to call it the C chord. It's really very simple. So it doesn't matter what scale you put here. If you remember to start on your most important note and hop to every other one, picking up 3 notes and then 4 notes and then 3, you'd pick up the chords belonging to that particular key. So anybody can really find those 3 chords. Now let's hear these chords again. I'm going to just say G chord, and when I say G chord, red, greens and purples play. When I say D seventh, all you people play, and so on. So let's hear the D seventh chord. And now let's hear the G chord. Good. Did you hear how that made a nice sort of sound? And it's called a cadence, or an ending. You listen to it again. In fact, it's called a perfect ending. So let's listen again. D seventh to the G chord. Good. All right. Now let's hear now the C chord. Good. Now I'm going to dodge from one chord to another and see if you can hear what the sounds are like. Off you go. Now what I'm going to ask you to do though is play 1, 2, 3, 4 beats each time you see me pointing to a chord. I'll try and point just before you're due to come in to warn you a little bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Lovely sounds, aren't they? They're very satisfying. Now, how am I going to put those with my music? Now, that's called a bar line, not a bar lamb, right? That is called a bar. So we've got 1 bar, 2 bars, 3 bars, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 8 bars of music. And don't forget that this first chord here is your most important. It's the one your ear actually prefers to all the others. This is the weakest, and that's your next in strength, and that's your strongest chord. So if possible, you try to choose that first, and then that, and then that. Now, we have nothing but red notes in that bar. We've got a red note in the C chord, and we've also got a red note in the G chord. So which one do you think I'm going to choose? G. Yes, because it is the strong chord. So I'm going to choose the G chord for that. Now, because this says 4/4, I know that in every bar I have got 4 beats to a bar, and each beat is worth actually a quarter note. That's a quarter note. So I've got 1, 2, and that note is worth 2 quarters. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So every time we're going to play here, we're going to play 4 beats to a bar. Now, in this next bar, I've got a brown sharp note, don't forget, and a blue note. So, which chord do you think I'm going to use? D7. That's right, a D7th. So we've got a brown sharp and a blue, and they are both taken from the D7th chord. Now, in this bar, I've only got a blue note. So which chord has a blue note? D7th. So I'm going to use my D7th chord again to accompany that one. So there's a D7th chord, and the last of this line is a red note and a green. So what chord am I going to use there? G. G. That's going to be my G chord there. Now the next line, I've got nothing but green notes in that bar. So that's going to be G. Now I've got a yellow and an orange. C. C. And then I've got purples, yellows and blues. D7. And I land up on a red note. And that's going to be my G chord again. So let's just play those chords through. Don't forget 4 wallops to each chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good, that's fine. Now, I wonder if, Neil, you'd play our recorder for us and play that tune. You will notice, by the way, those who don't know about this recorder, but you'll find that we've got stickers on the recorder so that if you don't know how to play, you can actually tell by these little stickers which note to play. That's got red on it, so the first note is going to be the red note, G. Neil happens to be able to play, though, without those, but there we are. So let's just hear the tune, and then we'll put the chords with it. Can you just play it through for us? Off we go. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, and he was playing 1, 2, 3, 4, so we'll do it as quickly as that. Are you ready? And. Good. Now it's usual when you're playing a piece, your last bar to have 1 good strong note, or in this case 2 would sound quite nice, but it's better than keeping on going. So you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 would sound quite nice at the end. You'll usually find a strong beat on the end like that. Now, there's one more little thing which will make this tune a little more interesting, and that is that all these notes here are what we call harmony notes. You've seen how we've taken the notes out of these chords in every case. But it could be a little bit boring if you just stick to these harmony notes. We can, when we have 2 notes exactly the same, we can have another little note put in between. But now our time has gone wrong because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beats. So what we have to do, we have to pull this note into that one, and now we've got 2 little 8th notes there, ta te ta ta ah, and you'll find the time is kept correct. And these are called passing notes, and all music is made up of these harmony notes and these other little notes called passing notes. And you can put them in between 2 notes the same. You could have either it above or you could have it below the note like that. Or you can also put these passing notes in where you've got room just for 1 note. We could put 1 in there. We could put 1 in there, we could put 1 in there, and we could put one in there. I wonder, Neil, if you could be very clever and pop passing notes in as we play.
I'll
All right, so you play your chords and Neil is going to try and play that. But wait a minute, we can also have another instrument. What about playing the guitar as well? Because I think Mark plays the guitar. And you'll see the same thing here. We've got the coloured stickers. There's a red, green and purple sticker there which shows that those open strings make the chord of G. And if he puts his finger there, we'll make another G, so you can go right across and so on. So though Mark can actually play the chords without that, but that's how you can teach your children how to play, or grown-ups. So, Mark, could you give us 4 beats for that? And the rest of you play on your chimes as well. And we'll see how jolly it sounds with these added passing notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's have another go. We could go up and down there, couldn't we? And you could go pop one in there. I'll try and put my finger where we can have a few passing notes, and you'll see where it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. That's lovely. Now, the same thing can be done on any piece. In fact, if Mark, you'd like to just hand me that book over there, you'll find that this Wizard's Way book, which is really a book for children, you'll be able to play any of these tunes here just by following the chords in exactly the same way. And I'm going to show you very quickly how we can put these chords in like this. That's going to represent the bar of G, that's the D7th. What's the next chord on that little piece there we could play? G chord?
G, G, 3 Gs, the D7, C, D7, G and G.
G. Now, these are called chord flags, and you'll see it's just as easy to play. That represents a G chord, is the bottom note, the root G. Are you happy about that? That's a G chord, D7th. That's a C chord, D7, G, G. Playing exactly the same way. What time are we in?
We're in 3/4.
So we're going to play 3 beats to a bar. So I'll count you in, and we can finish showing that it's very easy just to follow a flag and play a tune just the same way. So we'll go 1, 2, 3.